Ba-da-ba-dum-bum-bum-ba-ba-bum.
Hello, you guys.
Hey, Victoria.
Yes.
Now, the
Hey,
show
Victoria,
is
what?
here.
Welcome, you guys, to another exciting episode of Feel It Real Fun for you on the 2nd of December, 2022.
That is the rightness everyone said.
That's right. And it's your manifesting questions answered live.
Yes.
Because dead sucks, isn't that what you say?
That's what I say, yeah. Yo, Jaybird.
Hello, Jaybird.
All right.
And someone before, but I can't
And
tell who.
someone before.
Oh, two people before.
All right. So, Victoria.
Yes, so go to easymanifestingmethods.com.
That's right. It's still on the old thing. Why? Because I haven't moved it yet. Valerie. Coral is here as well.
Hello.
Triple D Kids. Yo.
Join our 90-day adventure at manifestingmasterycourse.com.
That's right. And for you guys that want to get in remarkable 2023,
Yes.
right? Email me. Right. Oh, God, it's going to be good. Or you can dick around. We'll see you in 2024. Fuck it, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, and for refunds, visit our YouTube channel, feelitrealfun.com.
That's right. So, Victoria, shall we do the introduction and then...
We just did all that.
all right.
We'll start.
Let's do it.
So, the first question's from Natalie in Manifesting Mastery.
Yo, Natalie.
Manifesting Health.
That's right.
Natalie asks, I've also noticed that the things that come quickly and easily are the things I don't give too much thought to.
By the way, let's interrupt there just for a moment because Lisa and LaRock has entered the building.
Hello.
And we want to point out something, right? This is a
Yes.
great example of thoughts do not produce things. Thoughts are things that are produced by states. Right? Just because you repeat chocolate is pizza long enough doesn't make chocolate pizza. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, no.
Right? No, right? So let's start from the top again since I so brutally interrupted.
Okay, so I've noticed that the things that come quickly and easily are the things that I don't give too much thought to.
Like oxygen.
Yes, when something feels important to me, I just can't stop myself thinking about it, no matter how hard I try. And then I can't stay in the wishful field because I'm imagining what could go wrong, etc.
So here's one of the keys with that, right? So when in doubt, if you really get things could go wrong, always add in the color purple and Richard Branson. For example, we're going to get the inside of the house re-rendered at some point.
Yes.
And if we just add in the color purple and Richard Branson, it'll screw it all up.
Yeah,
Right?
no.
Just-
Just
I mean, can you imagine little purple Richard Bransons all
all
over
over
the
the
house?
wall, stenciled.
Yeah, stenciled in, right?
No.
Anyway.
I constantly think about health issues, and I'm finding it hard to rest in the wishful field when I'm still experiencing it in the 3D. This week has been a massive learning experience, and I love learning. Love to you both, Natalie.
I am a lifelong learner, and learning to me is behavior change. And behavior change is noticing. I'm a 56-year-old guy, and there's this thing called hurt. My body just hurts, right? Most of the time now it hurts because I get sore. I go to the pool, I exercise, I have a lot of fun. Every now and then I have a little bit too much fun.
Yep.
I swear to God, I got to just have the other thing here and film them while the show goes on. There's this whole other side show. It's like
Yeah.
Dr. Brian. How,
Yes.
Dr. Brian, how we love you, Dr. Brian. So,
Yes.
this whole thing, it really comes down to this. Stop and be still. One of the ways that you stop and be still is by exploring that you're the one that is determining where the limo of your life goes. And so when I say, honest to God, like, if you want to screw things up, right? So like, it's silly season. Families are going to get together, and people are already worrying about what they're going to say, what they're going to do. I add in the color purple and Richard Branson, right? Right, just for fun. 20, who's your new friend? Oh, we call him Rich, right?
Rich.
Yeah, why do we call him Rich? Because he is, right?
Yes, true.
So stay tuned. The biggest thing here is to really just notice in the opportunity, you can imagine consequence, or you can imagine something else. And consequence is just weeds growing in the garden. Let me ask her a question. Garden girl, are there weeds in the garden?
There's lots.
Yeah. Will there forever be weeds in the garden?
Yep.
Of course. Yeah. Is the amount of weeds
Soil's
to
fabulous.
is
Love it.
is the ratio of weeds to chosen plants different now than it was?
Yes.
Yes, a day ago. 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Right? And it all
Yes.
comes from being the gardener, being that active imaginer. And I swear to God, nobody's teaching this but us, as far as I can tell. Add in Richard Branson and The Color Purple. Anytime the thing goes nuts, just to prove to yourself that you are the one that determines where the limos go. Add in Richard Branson, right, and The Color Purple. Those flowers. Lisa loves the flower of our friend, the photo of our friend I just took out there.
It's one of your favourites, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty
All right.
one.
Kate, welcome to the show. All right.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, so that was for Natalie. Thanks very much for your question, Natalie.
That's right.
That's right.
Cool. And Kate, we got your question next.
Oh, is that Kate? Kate.
Yes.
Hello, Kate. So, Kate, in Manifesting Mastery, Relationships and the Pearl of Great Price. And Kate asks, made a commitment to learn all I can and buy the pearl, never sell it.
First of all, congratulations on your commitment. Right? That's like saying, I do, hey, we're married, that's cool. Now, after we're married, guess what happens? We can have these things called discussions and disagreements and so on, right? Some people marry each other to make each other wrong or to change them. Oh, I decided to marry the woman that needs to change the most.
Great.
Yeah. By the way, we've all done that, right? And that's the cool thing because, like, you know, you're going to hit speed bumps. You're probably going to drop the pearl once in a while, no biggie. So, first of all, congratulations on the commitment. Second of all, congratulations on the whole thing if you're going to drop it.
It's okay.
Cool. And it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's keep going.
In some of my closest relationships, I tolerated being second. Some of these relationships I want to preserve. Much invested. I admit I struggle with it. I've approached it with revision. A few of these relationships were built on an agreement to accept my place and accept the crumbs. Kidding myself, I was eating caviar.
All been there.
So as I advise, it begs the question, can these relationships survive, transform and reflect my new growing sustained identity? Your thoughts?
I happen to love Buckminster Fuller because he invented the coolest house besides ours, the geodesic dome, right? And Bucky did a bunch of other cool things too. But one of the things that Bucky considered himself to be lab rat number one, that's me, right? I'm lab rat number one with all we do.
I'm always lab rat number two.
Yeah, she's always number
okay.
two. By the time you guys think that I'm screwing with you, believe me, I've screwed with me and her for a long time with whatever we're introducing to the world, right? So here's why I mention all that. It's all about relating. Bucky said that I seem to be a verb. And I love that because a relationship is a virtual noun. People say, we are in a relationship. It's like saying we are in a sleeping bag. Right? A relationship is a virtual noun. The cool thing about a sleeping bag is you can sell it. Right? Yeah. The thing about relating, it's dynamic. Right? And that's what's really cool. So if we look at I swear to God, out of everyone I know, maybe 1% of the people, if that, have bought the pearl. Almost everybody I know has some sort of excuse going on. So, meanwhile, I walk around buying the pearl, rebuying the pearl, picking up the fucking thing after I drop it, that kind of thing, so on and so forth. Lots of fun. But here's the cool thing. Your relating is going to change. And that's what's wonderful. Because if instead of imagining the relationships going... You know, by the way, your entire life, I'm 56. My best friend when I was 12, I don't even know where he is on the planet now. Right, or even if he exists on the planet now. So people will come, people will go. How you relate to them is always going to begin with how you relate to you, your concept of self. So congratulations for diving into the pearl. Congratulations for being willing to go, you know what, I'm going to play with this everywhere in my life. And imagine
I see it not as like the people that are already in your life where you're second best, but the wish fulfilled is just, I love all the relationships in my life.
Totally.
And when you come from that state, it's,
and you come first. She comes first in her world. She has to, right? Otherwise, she's sacrificing something for me, right? And I'm sacrificing something for her. Happy, loving husband comes first. Happy, loving husband wants her to be happy. And so we're having, 2 kinds of bacon, 1 kind of sausage, 2 kinds of eggs.
Yeah.
How many kinds of butter? I mean, lunch is going to be quite the adventure today. right?
It's just a big brekkie. But
Yeah, it's just a big brekkie. I see.
Have we got any? We might have. We could have a hash brown as well.
We could have a hash brown. Imagine that.
Yum.
So,
Okay, yes.
relating. Just so as you take more responsibility in your life, for your life, which is what the Pearl's all about, the way you relate's going to change. And by the way, here's what's cool. You're welcome very much. There are people that say, you don't need to learn anything from Mr. 2020. I just study Neville because I'm doing it all on my own. That's one way of relating to the world. Me, I like to dance with people. So if you imagine all your relationships become dances, some people are going to fast dance with you. Some are going to slow dance. Some are going to bring in their purple outfit and my friend Richard.
It's also interpreting, Neville. That's where, you can do it all on your own. But it's like interpreting what Neville meant in a lot of his, whatever they're called, like lectures and stuff. It's just so great getting other people's opinions or your opinion. Do you know what I mean on what Neville actually meant by that?
I like sharing experience.
Lost. Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So a lot of people get lost in data, but people share experiences with people.
Got ya.
So, cool.
Cool. Excellent. So that was for Kate.
By the way, if you guys want to see my experience of Victoria, notice my experience of the garden when I take photos of it. That's her. It's also me. The photographer pushed out. Victoria pushed out.
Yeah, right.
So that dance shows up in the photography, because you all know people that take sucky photos, right? We've all been the person that takes sucky photos. But the state of photographer meeting the state of garden girl brings those photos to you. Check them out on my personal timeline. So,
excellent.
Let us continue.
Okay. Any ideas?
The letter C, followed by Iombra. C. Iombra.
Yeah, so Kiambra, I think, on Facebook.
Oh, it could be like Kimbra, like Kiambra.
Yeah.
In one of those languages.
Yeah, one of those languages.
Hey, I can butcher
I'm going to call, so we're just going to start again. So the next question is from Kiambra on Facebook, the no desire state. And I'm sorry if I've said your name wrong. Kiambra asks, is surrender and faith in flow of life the ultimate knowing of Neville's teaching? Reaching the no desire state, knowing everything is taken care of.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. So there comes a point where your hunger becomes for the truth, and that's cool. But at the same time, when you study Neville's entire life, and it's that whole thing: before enlightenment, you chop wood, you carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood, you carry water. Before enlightenment, you think, oh my God, if she cooks breakfast for me naked, I'll be happy for the rest of my life. On the other hand, if we find out if she cooks breakfast for me naked, I might be happy for 15 minutes of fame, right? And that's it. Then we go on to the next craving, right? And this to me is the coolest thing, because even Neville, late in his life, was still imagining lovingly for other people, still imagining lovely things into his life. So even though he had the hunger for the truth and woke up, he continued to enjoy things. And that to me is the cool thing, because whenever you get your desires are divine in origin, you didn't come here to desire nothing. You came here to experience anything and everything that you choose. And that's the cool thing. Because there's almost like a mock enlightenment state that I notice people bump into. And that comes down to I don't desire anything. I'm the person that doesn't have any desires for anything. In other words, I'm superior to you, right? And not a fan of that. Yeah, I'm a fan of noticing, guess what? You can have a hunger for truth and pizza. You can have a hunger for Dr. Brian to be on the show. Right? Seriously, I was just thinking about you this morning. So I'm experiencing my experience of Dr. Brian. Is it going to make me happy that he's here? I'm happy he's here. But I'm not chasing happiness, like that. So, as far as I can tell, the point is to not have a no desires state. There's a point of knowing you are the desire. Your desires are divine in origin. And when you move into a desire, that helps you know and explore imagination even more. So, pizza and popcorn, Victoria.
Okay.
All right.
So that was for Kiambra. Thank you very much for your question.
Lisa loves something Brian said, and I missed it. All right.
Okay.
We'll read it later.
The next question is from Jessica in Manifesting Mastery. Fear of getting your desires. And Jessica asks, fear of getting your desires, like when things are rolling and your desires appearing in 3D, panicking, guilt, and potential sabotaging the manifestations of the desire because the anxiety and feeling of dread is too much. I feel a sense of dread now, and when I think about it, and can't get myself to go ahead with plans. This has happened with other things. I get intense anxiety about the desire and can't hardly think about it or deal with it.
I love that thinking has showed up at least twice in today's show already and later. Because this whole thing, thoughts do not produce things. Thoughts are produced by states. Thoughts are virtual things, right? Thinking is a verb. It's a process. Thinking is where thoughts come from, right? Now, I say all that for a very important reason. I do. Archie, you've heard that before.
Yes.
Victoria, I am telling you this for a very good reason.
Yes.
Yes, 20.
I'm the lab rat too. Yes.
Lab rat number 2. Right? So, Carolina put up a comment just a moment ago that scrolled past and I barely caught it. But it was something so it goes back to the previous question of a no desire state. A lot of people enter into that mock enlightenment state because they honestly don't have faith. Your faith in God is measured by your loyalty. Your faith in God is measured by your confidence in you. Yeah. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. And that's the beautiful thing. If you think about this, right? People say, I want to be like God. I want to have no desires. God created everything in 7 days, according to Genesis. In other words, God desired a platypus. Let there be a platypus.
I'd be tired.
Yeah, let there be ice cream, right? Yeah. Some people say it's not in the good book, so it can't exist. Radio, right? Ripple Ridge ice cream. So, this whole thing about thinking too much, this is just the vine growing out of control. This is just, I can guarantee there's something that comes back to this whole thing of thoughts create things. Thoughts are just part of the created. So you've imagined up a trip, you're probably forcing it instead of surrendering to it. Because if you're forcing it, that's going to bring up the objections. What if he doesn't want to go? What if he wants to go? What if we get mugged? What if we blow a tire? Right. Yeah, maybe we should take an airplane instead of a car. So because the car might blow a tire, it's an old Pinto. I love those 74 Pintos. But then the airplane, it might blow a tire, and everything goes nuts. And what you got to do, 2 things I'd suggest. Number 1, we've got that little surrender pack. That's really important. Most people are teaching resist like you're constipated, right? Not a fan of constipated manifesting. Not a fan of constipation, period. Number 2, so we got that little surrender pack. Number 2, Joseph Goddard. If you're putting in, 5 to 12, 6 to 10, half a dozen to a dozen wishes per day in the morning before you get out of bed, you won't have time for all this. Yeah, that whole thing of idle hands or the devil's workshop or something like that.
Devil's work.
Is it?
I thought.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe you read part of the good book. She didn't read that last syllable.
Maybe not.
Right? So that's, I'm not a fan of being idle. Yeah, I'm a fan of what else can I give love to? What else can I give life to? And go from there. Like a super yummy lunch.
Excellent.
All right. So,
okay.
Coral calls you Saint Victoria Lynn.
Saint. Sometimes I feel like it.
She's the one that puts the electric in the cage.
Jessica, all our latest offerings as well for everyone else also tuned in, like what was it you called it?
The surrender pack?
Is it called the sweet surrender?
The Secrets of Surrender.
Secrets of Surrender.
The Sweetness of Surrender would have been a good title too.
The Joseph Goddard one. That's also NevilleGoddardStore.com. Just that I said it right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of goodies there. Good shit.
Lots of good stuff. So you can grab them there.
Yes.
And thank you for your question, Jessica.
Doo-be-doo-bop-bop-bop-bop.
The next question's from Abby on Facebook.
Boy.
Abby on Facebook, I'm at war with my mind.
See, we got a theme
Well,
today.
there is, isn't there, today?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like the third or fourth one.
You know, it's because it's getting close to Christmas.
Oh, maybe it is, all the
It's
anxiety
beginning
and
to
stress.
look a lot like Christmas. All right.
And Abby asks, getting the old man to shut the hell up and slam the door on thought patterns you've had for so long. For example, my mother is so difficult. Welcome, Abby. For example, my mother is so difficult.
She is.
So when she shows up being difficult, because that's a dominant thought you have about her, getting the old man to come on board and not be at war with you when you want to slam the door on the thought and 3D and imagine lovingly.
Cool. Let's upgrade this a tiny bit. So it ain't your dominant thoughts that matter. Your thoughts are just produced by your states. Now, here's the cool thing, right? So all of us have probably had a mother, mother-in-law, father, father-in-law, Uncle Joe. That's a
Someone that's
someone.
a bit difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the
Yes.
cool thing, right? People aren't difficult around me for long, right? I do imagine lovingly, and I also do this thing called I'm leaving or you're leaving, right? And I don't have a problem with that. But here's the cool thing. I tend not to imagine conflict, right? When conflict shows up because of an old imagining, all right, right? And here's the thing. You can shut it down. Yeah, you can shut it down kindly. You can revise the conversation as you hear it. Every now and then, see, I revise conversations as I hear them, and the craziest shit happens. On the other hand, every now and then I got to just say, look, it's time for you to play a game called Shut the Fuck Up. Right? And you can tell I've said that more than once, right? And I actually have. And some people don't like that. But here's the thing. Your state will move you to do whatever you need to do. And it may be, hey, guess who it is? Not picking up the phone. Right? Or it may be, hey, look who it is. And you feel something. And you know they're in a good place. Right? But if you're hoping they're in a good place, don't pick up the phone. Right? Hope is basically not yet.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the cool thing. You've got this old state. Don't go to war with the state. So here's the cool thing. Ready? Getting the old man to shut the hell up and slam the door on the patterns about your mother. So you're at war with your state, which in your state's at war with your mom.
Yeah.
Right? On the other hand, you could just imagine being happy. You could be happy loving husband, happy loving daughter, happy loving whatever. And here's the cool thing. I imagine being a happy loving son. And I didn't talk to my mom for like a year. Swear to God. Right? We would talk, dumb shit would show up, and I'd say, you do not want to continue down this path. Dumb shit would continue, and I'd just hang up. Right? And am I telling the truth? I'm telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, I'd call Mom, and everything was okay. And now we just had like a 30-minute chat this morning. I bought her an iThings. We can do video chats. It's lovely. But I moved fully into the state of my mom and I get along great. And wouldn't you know, we do. But I'm not going to tell you, hey, like fake it till you make it, hope whenever you feel like picking up the phone and you know it's not real, right? Why didn't it work? Did you nail it or were you hoping? Well, I hoped I nailed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You get to become brutally honest with this stuff. And that's the cool thing. And on the other side of the coin, again, some people don't like that I am very street. I really am. I will tell people it is time for you to stop. Right? Yeah, and some people don't like that. But here's the thing. Some people need to be told that. If they were told that when they were 7, they wouldn't be rude to everyone now. So if you tell them that now, they just might shift. It's just a very, very simple thing. So that's what I got there.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay. So, yes, that was for Abby. Thank you very much, Abby, for your question.
Boom. I see Jess is here as well. Triple D Jess. Triple D Ashley is returned to the building.
Return to the building. Okay.
Hoo-ha.
And the last question today is from Robin in Dream Driven Day. How to tell when you nail it. This was goody following on from Abby then.
That is the rightness.
And Robin asks, how do you know when something is divine timing versus knowing you haven't felt it natural enough? Because I'm starting to be a lot more sympathetic toward homeless people. I had a really rough situation with a group of them that changed my mindset. And I never would have felt that way if my manifestations already showed up.
Cool. So I'll go back to the second part of the first bit, just for fun. knowing that you haven't felt it natural enough. You know when you've changed. And that's the cool thing. If I go back to my relationship with my mom, I know when I changed. And it's funny because when I really, really changed is whenever, she said she was going to buy either a computer or fix the sink. I asked her what kind of computer. She said a Chromebook. And I told her, you fix the sink. I'm buying you an iPad. Right? The thought of my mom on a Chromebook just does not make me a happy man.
Oh, you couldn't have had your little video sessions.
Couldn't have the little video
Well,
sessions.
maybe you could have.
It just would have been shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. You know when you know because you're different. That's the cool thing. On the other hand, if I'm the same asshole and want everything else to be fairy fluff, right? We'll see how that works out, right? It just doesn't happen that way. So, I think that's pretty good. How do you know? Yeah. All right. Boom. That was good for me, Robin. I hope it was good for you.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yay. And now,
well, tell us, what was your hashtag strawberry bits?
doobie-doo-bop-bop-bop-bop.
And mine was just the correlations between them all today was fabulous. And the moving on from one to the next, like how Abby was saying, slamming the door, and then so you start saying, well, when you've moved, and
Totally.
then Robin's questions about nailing it, and so it was great. Thank you very much. And so many minds, stressed out ones, anxious ones. You might be right there.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes.
I wonder where he is.
I don't know.
Somebody tag Chris Smith, please.
Yeah.
Darker yo.
What was your
alas.
hashtag strawberry bits?
It's funny with a show like this, especially heading toward the holidays. I like the twin qualities of blunt and sharp. Being blunt reveals how sharp you really are. And sometimes you just got to be blunt when you imagine something. Like, poof, I'm done with that. Right? And blunt, could include telling someone, we're done talking about that. Right? Blunt reveals the sharpness of you. So get blunt with yourself, and you'll reveal that. So bold and blunt. All right. That's what I got, Victoria. And by the way, the other thing, seriously, how they all flow together, I just love that. Because, I honest to God, so we've got the revision call tomorrow. This is a crass commercial. Not really, because it's already booked.
Sold out,
right?
yeah.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
So we got the revision call tomorrow. And originally I was going to do this to bring some of the revision bits in and possibly do a crass commercial for the revision call and so on. But I got the feeling the other day, no, this is not a revision show, so I wasn't even going to steer it in that direction. But it's like I'm curious. I get infinitely curious. Somebody tag Go. I get infinitely curious about, what's the show going to be about? And then I look at all the questions, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa, don't pick up the phone if you hope. That's blunt, isn't
Yeah.
it? Everyone goes, oh, I nailed it, and so I picked up the phone. Yeah, you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
Right? This is like oxygen, right? If you're at war, you hold your breath, right? But don't pick up the phone if you hope. Doesn't that sums up the whole philosophy for me, right? If I know, I know. If I don't, I'll just look at that phone and go, yeah, right.
Excellent.
All right.
So they were our hashtag strawberry bits.
What was your hashtag strawberry bit?
I told you. You'll see it when you review the show.
I love Victoria. She's my best friend.
Meanwhile, go to easymanifestingmethods.com.
Yes, do that.
Join our 90-day adventure at manifestingmasterycost.com.
Yes.
And for refunds, Emmett, why are you
crying? There's
You're
nothing
crying
to
a
cry
Brucey
about.
Boy. For refunds, visit our YouTube channel, feelitrealfun.com.
That is the rightness everyone said at Champreville, except for those Triple D people that are joining us in Remarkable. Reach out if you want details. See ya.